When you hear the word love, what comes to mind? For many, love is fireworks, butterflies in the stomach, late night phone calls, and the feeling of your heart racing when you see someone special walk into a room. For years, I thought that's what love was supposed to be. The kind we see in movies, the kind we chase when we're young, and the kind we sometimes lose along the way. But as I've grown older, especially after reaching 70, I've realized that love doesn't end with youth. It doesn't expire when the hair turns gray or when the body slows down. In fact, love after 70 has taught me some of the most powerful lessons of my entire life. It is softer, wiser, and in many ways deeper than the love I thought I understood in my younger years. When I was in my 20s, I equated love with passion. I believed it had to be dramatic, overwhelming, and full of intensity. I thought that if I didn't feel butterflies in my stomach every day, then maybe the love wasn't real. At that time, it was easy to get caught up in the excitement, in the thrill of someone new, in the idea that love was always about chasing and being chased. But with age comes perspective. At 70, I can tell you that real love isn't measured by how fast your heart beats, but by how calm it feels when you're with the right person. Love, at its purest, is not a storm. It's a steady flame that warms you without burning out. One of the most valuable lessons I've learned about love after 70 is that companionship is just as important as romance. In our youth, we sometimes confuse love with passion alone, but passion without friendship rarely lasts. After decades of life experiences, I now understand that true love is having someone you can laugh with, talk to, and simply sit in silence with. It's not always about big gestures. It's about the little things. Sharing a meal, watching your favorite show together, or walking hand in hand through a quiet park. At this stage of life, it's those small, ordinary moments that feel extraordinary. Another thing I've come to appreciate is that love after 70 is far more forgiving. When we are younger, we often carry grudges, we let pride get in the way, or we argue over things that don't really matter. But after living through the ups and downs of life, you learn that holding on to anger is a waste of precious time. You realize how fleeting life truly is, and you don't want to spend it in bitterness. At this age, love is about acceptance. Accepting your partner's flaws, quirks, and imperfections, and recognizing that those little things you once found irritating are often the very things that make a person unique. Forgiveness comes easier because you understand that love isn't about being perfect, it's about being real and staying together through it all. Something that may surprise many people is that love after 70 can still be exciting. A lot of people assume that once you hit a certain age, romance is behind you. But I've discovered that life can still surprise you, even in your 70s. I've seen friends who, after losing a spouse, thought they would never love again. Yet they met someone new in their 70s or 80s and their faces lit up with joy like they were teenagers again. I've experienced moments of unexpected connection myself. Times when a friendship turned into something more, or when someone entered my life and reminded me that it's never too late to feel special. Love at this age may not have the reckless fire of youth, but it has a kind of quiet magic that is just as powerful. Another lesson I've learned is that love after 70 isn't always romantic in the traditional sense. Yes, it can be about having a partner, but it's also about connection in broader ways. Love for your children, your grandchildren, your friends, and even yourself. You begin to understand that love is a choice you make daily, to care, to listen, to show kindness, and to be present. At this age, you realize that love doesn't have to fit into one box. It can be the joy of watching your granddaughter play, the comfort of a phone call with an old friend, or even the peace of spending time alone and learning to love yourself. Self-love, in particular, has been one of my greatest discoveries. When we're younger, we often place our value in how others see us. Whether someone loves us, whether we're attractive, whether we're wanted. But at 70, I've realized that true love begins with how you treat yourself. Do you speak kindly to yourself? Do you forgive yourself for past mistakes? Do you give yourself permission to rest, to dream, and to grow? Loving myself has made me a better partner, friend, and parent, because when your heart is full, you have more love to give. One of the sweetest parts of love after 70 is gratitude. When you've lived through loss, heartbreak, or hardship, you develop a deeper appreciation for what you have. You stop taking people for granted. Every shared laugh, every hug, every I love you feels more precious because you know how quickly life can change. Gratitude makes love richer and it keeps your heart open even after pain. Of course, love after 70 isn't without challenges. There are health concerns, differences in energy levels, and sometimes the realities of caregiving. But even in those challenges, I've learned that love is about showing up. It's about being there for someone not just in the happy times, but also in the difficult ones. True love means standing beside someone even when things get tough. And at this stage of life, that kind of commitment feels even more meaningful. Perhaps one of the most powerful lessons is that love doesn't have an age limit. Society often tells us that love is for the young, that romance fades as the years go by, but I'm living proof that love is timeless. Whether it's a deepening bond with a lifelong partner or a brand new relationship that blossoms later in life, love continues to evolve. It may look different, but it is no less real, no less powerful, and no less beautiful. So, what have I learned about love after 70? I've learned that love is not just passion, it's patience. It's not just excitement, it's peace. It's not about being perfect, it's about being present. Love after 70 is about cherishing the small things, forgiving easily, embracing surprises, and being grateful for every moment you share with someone you care about. It's about understanding that the heart never stops needing love, and that giving and receiving love is one of the greatest joys of being alive, no matter how old you are. If you're listening to this and you're over 60, 70, or even 80, I want you to know that it's never too late to love again. Whether that love is with a partner, with family, with friends, or with yourself, your heart still has room. Love doesn't end because time has passed. It only grows wiser, gentler, and more meaningful with age. So the next time someone asks me what I've learned about love after 70, I'll smile and say this. Love is not about how many years you've lived, but about how deeply you choose to live them with someone you love. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more uplifting stories, and share it with someone who needs to be reminded that love has no expiration date. Because the truth is, love after 70 may just be the most beautiful love of all.